All right, everybody, welcome to our live training. I'm so excited that you're here. My name is Brian Dixon, and you made it. You are in the right place. So go ahead and say hello in the chat. Let me know where you're calling in from. Awesome. Welcome, everybody. Yeah, this is so fun. This is a brand new setup for me, so I just want to make sure everything works. So if you can go ahead and find that chat and say hello, I can hear you and I can see the screen. I really appreciate it. Hopefully that all the technology is working. Oh my goodness, yes, we made it. Marie, we're here, and Carthy is here from Nashville. Marie from New Jersey. I almost said Hawaii because you said aloha. Lisa, welcome from Southern Kentucky. Anne from Minnesota. Aaron Jones is here from North Carolina. Hey, Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones is one of our authors. I'm so excited that you're here. Welcome. Jeanette is here. Susan is here from Wilmington. Jeanette from Oregon. Charlotte from Kentucky. Y'all, this is so incredible. I'm so grateful to be with you today. We just moved into a new office and we're always upgrading our setup. And I'm trying a brand new camera today. It looks like it's working fine, which is really, really exciting. And a new microphone. So, hey, technology, type in the word tech if you're with me, TECH. You know, a big part of writing in 2026 is tech. You need to figure out some tech stuff. You know, gone are the days of writing in a journal and typing it up and printing it out and sending it to a publisher. There's so much tech involved in being a writer. So one of those is Zoom. So you made it. You are in the right place because you found the Zoom link and you are here with me live. And this is so cool. I'm so glad to be with you today. I just want you to take a moment. Okay. I want you to take a moment. I'm going to unshare my screen so I can just really talk to you. All right. I want you to take a moment. There we go. Hey, everybody. You're right here. Okay. I want you to take a moment just to be grateful for the opportunity that we have today. If you really think about it, we have this opportunity to be live together today for free. How crazy is that? You have a internet connected computer. You have a video that you're watching. I mean, this is live, but like I have a video camera. And the fact that we can talk with each other about our writing, it's just cause for a pause and just gratitude. If you're so grateful to be alive today, to know that you have a story today, just say me in the chat. Me. I am so grateful. I am so grateful to be here. I'm so grateful that I have a story to share. And I'm so grateful that we can have this conversation together. So I see so much gratitude. This is so cool. I'm so grateful that I don't need my glasses to read the screen because the screen is huge. This is so awesome. Wow. Wow. Okay. So this is the purpose of our call today. The purpose of our call today is to help you get your words out of your heart and out of your head and into the hands of readers. So out of me and into them. That's the goal today. So I want to walk you through a little coaching process today to encourage you that your story matters, that you have words that need to get into the hands of readers. So if you're with me on that mission, type with you in the chat. I'm with you, Brian. I'm with you. Because I want you, friend, I want you to know that you have a story. You have a story to share. And what you've been through isn't wasted when you share it with somebody else. Because right now, someone is going through something that you've already been through. If you agree, just type amen in the chat. Someone is going through something right now that you've already been through. You've already been through it. You're probably going through something else right now. That's another story for another day. But today is about looking back and saying, I can't believe it, but I've made it this far. And there's someone right now thinking they can't do it. And your story is the encouragement that she needs. Your story matters. Your story could be the key that unlocks the door in her life. I want you to write that in the chat. My story matters. Just type that in the chat. My story matters. That you, friend, have a story to share. You have a story to share. And that's why I'm here today. I'm here to encourage you that your story matters. I'm here to encourage you that it is time. It is time for you to take that story that you've lived and to finally write it. To take your lived story and to write it so you can share it. So it's live, write, share. Type that in the chat if you're with me, okay? Live, write, share. Those are the 3 steps. You have to live it before you write it. You have to write it before you can share it. Live, write, and share. And some of you have stopped at the live part, that you lived your story. And you're looking at this story you're living and you're going, why? Why? And my encouragement to you is because you need to write it, because you need to share it, because someone else needs hope. And that's step number 4. You live it, you write it, you share it, and that brings them hope. That brings them hope. And hope does not disappoint us. Hope doesn't let us down. Do you get it? Are you one of our people? Have I connected to you in a way that you're like, yes? Type yes in the chat. Like, yeah, this is speaking your love language. Like, this is connecting to you. This is what you needed to hear today. It's not a training to like sell you something, right? Or to convince you to sign up for the new AI something. No, it's to let you know, friend, that you have a story that is worth sharing. Live, write, share equals hope. Equals hope. I'm married to a math teacher, and it's a pretty basic equation, right? Live plus write plus share equals hope. Equals hope. Yeah, I want to see. I haven't looked at the chat yet. Wow, so many people are here. I'm so grateful for you. So a couple of things I want to share with you as we get started. I just love talking with you instead of slides. I hope that's okay. I do have some slides, but if you would rather have a conversation than a presentation, just type me in the chat. I feel like there's too many people talking at us today than talking with us and to us. So I want to be somebody who listens rather than talks. And it's kind of weird to do that on a training where I can't see your face and I can't hear your voice, but I still feel like we can have a conversation, right? Okay, awesome. So you need to live it first. I want to just unpack that first. You need to live it. So let me ask you a question. Do you have a story that you've been living of patience, a story of having to wait to see how it all works out, a story of hoping for something for the future, and yet it's not here today? If you have a story of patience, type patience in the chat. I have a story of patience. I don't know about you, but I'm not really good at patience. I want it now. I want my way today, right? My way today. But in fact, it's his way tomorrow, often. And that means trust. And so if you have a story of patience, type patience in the chat. That's the focus I want to have in our conversation today, is a story of patience. Because, skipping to the end, we're actually looking for a few authors who have a story of patience. That's my not so secret agenda, is I want to publish your story of patience. So that's why I'm here today. And I'll walk you through exactly how that works in a few minutes. But I wanted to start with, like, what is that story? Because you have to live it before you write it. You have to write it before you share it. And then when you share it, it brings hope. Yeah, just wait. Yeah, it sounds so simple, right? Just wait. I agree. But like, what do you do while you're waiting? What's it like to wait? That's the story part, right? That's the story part. Okay. Wow. So housekeeping. We'll go to the top of the hour. So we'll be here for an hour together. So I really want you to be with me, be present, be engaging in the chat so I can see your comments and answer your questions. So be here, be focused. Whatever that distraction is that you have, if you just put that down for a minute, say, I'll get back to you. Be here. Your writing is worth it. Type, my writing is worth it. Your writing is worth it to give yourself an hour to be present. So type, my writing is worth it. Your writing is worth it. Absolutely. Absolutely. Your writing is worth it. Okay. Number two is, will there be a recording? Will there be a recording? The answer is yes, if. Okay. So there is a recording. Let me just make sure it actually is recording because we have a new technology here. Okay. Yeah, it is recording. If you would like the recording, then put your email address in the chat. Okay. Put your email address in the chat, and then we will send you the recording of today's training. So just go ahead and take a minute, put your email address in the chat. We'll take those email addresses. We'll say, I'll send you an email, my personal, I'll send you an email, and it will say, here's your recording, and you can click and you can watch the recording. Okay. Now, I don't send the recording so that you can say, oh, he'll do the recording, bye, and then leave. I really want you to be here for the whole thing because I believe that your words are worth it. Your words are worth the hour. Thank you. Is that say Helene? See, I do need to wear my glasses. Helene, Jessica, Jennifer. Yeah, absolutely. Sorry. Elizabeth, Anne, Carthy, Charlotte. Thank you for your email address. Kathy, Robin. I love your email address, by the way. That's hilarious. Michelle, Kelly. Who did I miss? Stacy, Lisa, Jeanette. Awesome. Marie. I think I've got everybody. Alejandra. Awesome. Awesome. Helene. Okay, it's Helene. I want to make sure I say it right. Awesome. Oh, there you go. Jen. Hey, Jen. Okay, perfect. This actually looks pretty good. So we're going to take the hour. Your story's worth it for you to be here and to really engage. And so, whatever you're doing, put it down and be here. If you haven't commented in the chat, this is your chance. Let me know where you're calling in from. My name is Brian Dixon. I am coming at you live from Matthews, North Carolina. It's a cute little town just outside of Charlotte, North Carolina here. And we actually just moved headquarters, which is really cool. So we publish books. I run a company called Hope Books. And Hope Books is a faith-inspired publisher. We do things a little differently. I'll walk you through kind of how we do things differently. But my vision, and maybe you're part of it, is to help 1,000 authors, 1,000, type 1,000 in the chat if you're with me, 1,000 authors become published authors this year. That's my vision. 2026. Without vision, the people perish. Without clarity, you won't make progress. So my vision for 2026 is to help 1,000, mostly women, which I love working with Christian women. That's like my target. You might not be a Christian woman. That's okay. You're still welcome to be here. But I love helping Christian women who have always wanted to write a book go from, I have no words published, to I've now published, to go from 0 to 1. In fact, if your dream is to write a book or to be in a book and you've never done it before, you've never published in a book before, just type in the number 0. No books so far. No books, no chapters published in a book, no books published. Just type in a 0 in the chat if you have not published yet. Okay, that's who I'm here for. That's specifically my mission, is to help first-time authors have a really great publishing experience. That's my goal. We often say faithful over famous. So my vision is not to work with really famous authors who have 1 million followers on Instagram. My hope and my vision is to help the everyday mom, the Christian woman who feels like her story doesn't really matter, but she has this calling on her life to share her words, and she doesn't know how to do it. And she needs help. And that's why I'm here. So I would love to be your book friend. I'd love to be your book coach. I'd love to be your book publisher and help you get it done. So if that's what you need, just type my name in the chat, Brian. Just say Brian, because asking is the first part of getting. Just type Brian if you're like, that's what I need. I need Brian. I need Brian to coach me, encourage me, publish my words. Just type Brian in the chat. And that way I know that we're talking to each other. Yeah, that's right. That's awesome, man. I'm so proud of you and so excited to be here. Okay, so today I want to really lean in on this idea of you having a story of patience to share. You have a story of patience to share, and I kind of want to unpack that. So I'd love you to take notes. Thank you, all, everybody. I'm so glad you're here. Laura Lee is here. I haven't given a couple more introductions. Laura Lee, Alicia's here. Welcome. Fatima's here, Mandy's here, Kathy's here. Oh my goodness, what a privilege to be with you. So fun. So there is a framework that I recently discovered that is going to help you write your story. Do you want that framework? Type I want it in the chat. Do you want that framework? I'm going to walk you through a framework that will help you write your story. And the cool thing about me being here live with you right now is I'm actually kind of practicing because I'm going to teach this on a Friday morning of our big conference. We have a big conference called the Hope Story Conference in Charlotte, North Carolina. It's not too late to get your ticket, hopestoryconference.com. If you're coming to the conference, just type conference in the chat, conference. So we have our big conference on Friday, or on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, January 29th, 30th, and 31st, which is 17 days away. Yeah. Oh, we got a couple people coming. This is going to be so fun. I love it. Oh my goodness. Michelle's going to be there. Elizabeth is going to be there. Jennifer is going to be there. Kelly's going to be there with a friend. Okay. So you're going to get a little preview of the presentation I'm going to give on Friday. Okay. We don't do live streaming because we really want to be in the room. It's like Hamilton, right? Be in the room where it happens. We want you to be in the room. We do record the conference and we'll share that later. But there's something so powerful about being with people, right? The Bible says, do not forsake the fellowship of believers. In other words, like keep getting together, gather together. Yeah, come join us. Come join us. If you're having trouble with the ticket, just send me a message. I'm so easy to find. Instagram, Facebook, you can send me a message. I've emailed you. It's just Brian at Hope Writers. I'll put that in the chat actually. Okay. I'm not some like big, famous, scary person. I'm like a real person that is here to actually help you. So just email me, Brian at hopewriters.com, if you really want to come to the conference, but you might be having some logistic trouble or financial trouble. I'm here to help you. So it's January 29th to 31st, and it is in Charlotte, North Carolina. Ann Voskamp is speaking, and Ruth Joe Simons is speaking, which is so incredible. So I'm just so honored to be with you. Okay, so let's really get into the meat of the content. And this is a 4-part framework for you to share your story. Now, specifically, I'm gonna kind of coach you a little bit in this call about your story of patience. Because not selfishly, but like from my perspective, we are publishing a book. Okay, how cool is this? We're publishing a book of 10 stories of patience. Type 10 in the chat if you're with me. 10 stories of patience. Yeah. Now, here's the fun thing. Carly on our team just told me this morning that our Stories of Peace collaboration book is full, that there are 10 authors that are all writing their stories of peace. And so she said to me, like literally 30 minutes ago, she said, hey, Brian, can you talk about patience today? I'm like, I can talk about patience because I definitely have a story of patience, and maybe you do as well. So that's specifically who I want to talk with today. But what I'll teach you will really help you as you craft whatever story that you're going to write. Okay? Sound good? So that's our plan. We're going to spend the hour together. I'm going to walk you through how to write your story. You're going to have a bit of an outline of that story. And then at the end, I'm going to say, hey, friend, you already have an outline. What if you work with us? Because we will coach you on how to actually write that in a chapter. We'll edit it because we have a really fantastic editor that's working on that book. And your story can be part of the Patience book. 10 authors, each sharing their story of patience in a published book that you become a published author. It is a real book that will be on Amazon. It will be at our headquarters. It'll be a book that you can have like shipped in the mail. You share with your friends and family. Like, wouldn't that be really cool? Let me know, like, what would that feel like for you to write your story and then have it in a book? Like, just let me know. Take a minute. What would that feel like for you to write your story and then have that published as a chapter in a book? Yeah, let me know. I get to see all this is so fun. I love it. Yeah, just take a second. Awesome. Yeah, phenomenal. Wowza, Mandy says. Sarah says exciting. Susan, fulfilling. Okay, that's why I'm here. That's why I'm here right now. It would absolutely make my day if you said yes to publishing your story in our patience book, in our book about stories of patience. Okay, that's why I'm here. Awesome. Fantastic. Radtastic. I love it. Okay. So there's two things that I really need to do in this call with you. The first one is I want to help you with your outline of how to write that story, because what you've been through isn't wasted when you share it with somebody else. So I'm going to walk you through. You've already lived it, right? Step one, you've already lived it. Step two, we're going to write it. So I'm going to help you write your story of patience today on this call. Then share it, which is what I want to end the call with, of like, how do you share it? How do you sign up for something called Hope Books Collabs or collaborations? But we try to be cool here, right? I'm approaching 50. I'm no longer cool. I don't know if I ever was, but collaborations is where 10 authors each share their story in one book. It's really, really fun. I've got some slides to tell you about that in a bit. So you've lived it, okay? You've lived your story of patience. Then we're going to write your story of patience. Then we're going to share your story of patience through publishing your book. And then here's my favorite part. People will get that book. They will, maybe they're friends with the person who wrote the first chapter, and then they get the book. They read the first chapter, but they don't stop there. They read chapter 2, and chapter 2 is your story. And you don't know them and they don't know you, but because you were faithful to write and share your story, they read it and your story gave them hope. Does that sound like a good deal? Type deal if that sounds like a good deal in the chat. That's the deal, right? You live it, you write it, you share it, and then they get the hope. And here's the cool thing. Everybody wins. Everybody benefits. It's the kingdom economy. Nobody's losing in this. It's really, really cool. Okay. I love it. Okay. That's why I'm here. You know what? We might already have our 10 people. Can you imagine if I said to Carly today, I'm like, we already got our 10. That would be so cool. Do you want to be one of those 10? Type in the chat, I want to be one of those 10. I want to be one of those 10. I want to write my story and have my story in a book. I want to be one of those 10. We can figure it out. Yeah, I want to be one of those 10. That's awesome. That's really who I want to speak to today. Everybody else, you can listen along, but that's specifically who I want to speak to today. All right, I like it. Carthy, Kelly, Jennifer, Lisa. Wait, let's 1, 2, 3. Robin 4, Michelle 5. Come on, I feel like I'm at an auction. 6, Alicia 7, Susan, Jeanette 8, Helene 9, Fatima 10, Charlotte 11, Jen 12. Guess what? Fear is going to knock a couple of you off the path. Don't let it. Don't let it. There's 12 people that want to join it. A couple of you are going to get afraid and say, no, thanks, never mind. It just happens, okay? But what if you chose faith instead of fear? Type faith over fear in the chat. What if you decided that instead of living the way I've lived that has led me to here, which is no published book, can I go there? The whole way I've lived up to this point has not equaled a book. What if I did something different starting today? Can I go there? Is that okay? What if I did something different today? What if I trusted instead of worried today? Right? What if today I said yes instead of no? Because no has got me to this point, but yes will take me somewhere different. Yeah, fearless. That's right. Okay, so I want you to pay attention. When the fear starts to talk, you just close the door. That's going to happen. It's going to happen at the end of the call. It will. I'm not, prophesying. I'm just saying, like, it's probably going to happen. I've seen it over and over again. And I want you to recognize it. When that fear comes in, I want you to say, hey, fear, no more. You're not the boss of me. Yeah, you're not the boss of me. That's right. Are you ready? Type ready if you're ready in the chat. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. I don't want fear to hold me back from sharing my story. I don't want fear. I was thinking about the song "Be Thou My Vision." I don't know if you're like a OG church person like I am. I mean, I grew up in the church. "Be Thou My Vision," and there's a line that says, "Riches I heed not, nor man's empty praise." And it's funny because approval of man and fear of man, both of them prevent us from serving people. And that's so good. Come on, that hit me this weekend. Approval of man and fear of man both prevent us from serving people. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Fear won't hold you back. If it has up to this point, I want to kick fear in the face, and I want to help you do that, okay? All right. So you can hear me. Everything's working. Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and get started. Yeah. Okay. So it's Romans 5, 3 through 5, walks through a 4-part framework, and that's what I'm going to be teaching at the conference. Okay. It's not too late to come to the conference. So I'm going to give you a little preview, and this is going to help you write your story of being patient. And your story of patience is going to help other people have hope that whatever they're going through right now, that season of waiting, the season of wanting, maybe the season of worrying, is worth it, that they can trust and that they can be patient in the waiting. So we're gonna look backwards. Okay, we're gonna look backwards. You know what? Actually, I'm just gonna. Why not open the Bible instead of trying to have it memorized? Okay, so Romans 5, 3 through 5. Make sure I'm saying everything the right way. Okay, so we rejoice in our suffering, knowing that suffering produces endurance. Endurance produces character, and character produces hope. Friends, those are that's the 4-part framework for your story. That's what I'm going to walk through this morning with you. Okay. The first one is the suffering. The first one is the suffering, then the endurance, then the character, and then the hope. That's it. Okay. So, and this isn't Brian original. I am quoting scripture here. If you're not a Bible person, I'm so glad you're here. You don't have to be a Bible person to work with us, but I am a Bible person, and so you're going to hear some Bible if you hang out with me long enough. Does that sound good? If you're a Bible person, type Bible in the chat. Yeah, I think our culture would be totally different if we had a lot more Bible people, right? Yeah. Okay. Cool. So let's start with the first part. The first part is the hard story. Romans, Paul calls it suffering. So, what is the suffering that you went through in your life, especially when it had to do with like a season of waiting or needing to be patient? So, usually it's the gap between the expectation and the experience is where we have disappointment, right? That's kind of the suffering. The suffering is in, I want this to be true, and yet this is actually true. And what I wanted and what I have are different. That's where the suffering is. So I want you to think back on your life. We've got time. So I love it. We have time to be together. So privileged to be with you today. To look back, where was a time in your life that there was something that you hoped for, something that you dreamed of, something that you really wanted, something that you really wished for or prayed for, and yet it was a not yet. It was a not yet. It wasn't a now. It wasn't a yes. It was a later. Type it in the chat. Is it okay? Can we be vulnerable today? Let's be vulnerable, right? Yeah, I love it. And then we'll work through it together. Sound good? Yeah. I love it. You can be as specific as you want. This is a safe place, and I'll honor your story. If this is the first time we're meeting, I understand that the trust might be low. I totally get that, but hopefully we can build trust over time. Yeah. So think about that story of needing to be patient. Needing to be patient is because I really want this to be true. I'm thinking about a friend right now. They've had some challenges with their kid, and they went from school to school to school, and they finally found a great school. And it was like, thank you, Lord. My kid is finally in the great school. And then last week, the school announced that they're closing. And it's like, you just want to rip your hair out. Because you're like, Lord, I thought this was the school. And they're closing? And I saw them at church on Sunday. And I was like, how are you guys doing? They're like, we're struggling. Because what they want and what they have are two different things. What's the answer? Well, trust God, right? We know that. But in the season, there has to be patience, waiting for the working. So do you have a story like that? Yeah, type in the chat. What's your story? So good. So good. Okay. Wow. Carthy, adoption. Mandy, healing. Jennifer, a good relationship with my mom. These are important stories. Michelle, husband's healing. Susan, despair turned to breakthrough, turned to transformation. We'll definitely get there, okay? Pamela, a good marriage. Jen, husband. Michelle, homeschooling. Lisa is in it right now. Yeah. Called to a new church, but have to sell your house and waiting and all that. There's so much waiting. Kelly, your 20s, career, ministry, spouse, becoming a mom. Yeah, quite a lot. I'm going to help you in a second. Like, what do you do if you have a lot of stories? Yeah. Bilingualism matters. Ooh, interesting. I would love to speak another language. Tell me more about that, Alejandra. Yeah. Plenty of places, Jeanette says. Elizabeth, relationship with my son. Sarah, planting a church. And relationship with my daughters. Stacy, weight and health journey. Okay, great. So for the patience in the waiting collaboration book, pick one. Pick one story, one chapter. Okay, one story, one chapter. Type the word one in the chat so I know you're with me. Okay, one story, one chapter, one story. Now the truth is, you have 10 stories, maybe 50 stories. You have a lot of stories. How awesome is that? I think every day is a story. Like right now, there's like 3 things I'm waiting for, 3 things I need to be patient about in my life right now that I could name. So the question is, which story? Which story? If you're not sure which story, type the word which in the chat. Like, which story, Brian? Like, what story do I write about? What story do I write about? Okay. This is a question. I've been a writing coach for 11 years. This is a question I see all the time, which is like, what do I write about, or which story do I write about? Okay. I'm going to give you my hard answer, but I also believe it's the best answer I can give you. Okay. This is the one that I would recommend. And the analogy is, I want you to imagine, this is what's coming to mind, so I'm just going to go with it. I want you to imagine there's a car accident and you're the first on the scene. I actually had the privilege of being the first on the scene of a car accident about three months ago. It was in the fall. I was coming home from my men's Bible study Tuesday morning, 6:30. It was about 8 o'clock. Bible study was over. I was driving to the office actually. And right in front of me, 2 cars collided into each other and one hit a telephone pole. And I looked around and I went, oh, I'm the first person on the scene. I've never had that before in my life. So I put my 4-way flashers on. I pulled over the side of the road and I prayed in that moment, like, Lord, give me wisdom. And I looked and I saw this car, that the driver of this car is already out of her vehicle. She doesn't look like she's bleeding or anything like that. That car over there that hit the telephone pole, all the airbags went off. So I had to make a choice. And that's the same choice you make as a writer. The choice, ready for this? It's a little hard. The choice is to lean into the pain. Type that in the chat. Lean into the pain. Now you're like, Brian, aren't you the hope writer guy? Like, that doesn't sound like hope. Yeah, it is. Because you know who the greatest hope is experienced when we have the deepest pain. So you lean into the pain. So what I did in that moment is I looked for who was hurting more. And it was a judgment call. I'm not a paramedic, but I immediately understood that the person that hit the telephone pole and had the airbags go off is probably in more pain than the person that already got out of her car. So you lean into the pain. Now, what pain are we talking about? Well, that's where it gets tricky. Is it your personal pain, or is it the pain that your audience is experiencing? I would actually recommend the pain your audience is experiencing, because as a writing coach, I would recommend that you heal before you reveal. You heal before you reveal. What I mean by that is, if you're still bleeding, it's not time to help somebody else who's bleeding. It's time to stop the bleeding. So for example, if you're going through a marriage crisis right now, that's not your story of patience. It's too fresh to write and publish that story. You're living, step 1, living that story. Live the story, then write the story. So if you're going through a marriage crisis right now or a crisis with your teenage daughter right now, don't write about your teenage daughter right now. Okay. Wait till she's 30 and then write about that. Instead, write about what you've been through in the past, something that you've already healed from. Okay. Type heal if you're with me. Heal. Heal before you reveal. Heal before you reveal. Because a leader helps followers go somewhere. And if you haven't been there, it's really hard to lead them there. Do you get it? Okay. So, yeah, I wasn't in pain when I saw the car accident. And so I was able to think clearly about what do I do? Oh, I go to the person that just hit the telephone pole and the airbags are deployed. And in the same way, you are writing to the person who's in the deepest pain. So if you had to choose between 2 or 3 stories of patience in your life, oh, I had to be patient in waiting to get engaged. I had to be a patient in waiting to get pregnant, and I had to be patient in waiting at the hospital room because of the suicide attempt of one of my family members. Which one has the deepest pain for your reader? Because you have 3 stories. Pick the one that has the deepest pain. But if you're still going through it and you're not ready to share it, then pick the other one. Does that make sense? Okay. So now that we've said that, which is the story that we're going to lean in on for this exercise? Just give me like just a couple words. You know, the marriage story, the parenting story, the health story. What's the story? Type it in the chat. Yeah. It's good, Jen. Thanks for your notes. I appreciate it. Yeah, if you guys want to change, when you type in the chat, you can hit host and panelists, or you can change it to everyone. When you change it to everyone, then we can all read your comments. When it's host and panelists, only I can read it, which is great. But it's really fun when everybody else can read it too. It's like Charlotte, if you just click the little down button where it says like to host and panelists, just change it to everyone. Then everybody can see what you said. Sarah, same thing. And yeah, I think everybody else is everyone. Awesome. Okay, great. Yeah. Amazing. So Charlotte, like think about if your story of pain that you lived is obsession over career advancement, there's someone else right now going through a career advancement obsession. Like they're struggling right now with the career advancement story. Get it? Okay. So step 1, Romans 5:3-5 is suffering. So what we're going to do, paragraph 1 is we're going to really paint the picture. We're going to type that in the chat, paint the picture. We're going to paint the picture of the pain. Paint the picture of the pain. That's the first paragraph. One of my friends, Catherine, she calls it the nab. She's like a marketing coach. You got to nab them, right? Nab them. You got to like get their attention. It's when when you're on social media and then you're like watching videos on Instagram Reels or something, and then one stops your thumb. It's because it nabbed you, got your attention. They call that the hook. So we start with the suffering. We start with the pain. You have to paint the picture of the pain. Paint the picture of the pain. I heard the crash. I looked up and I didn't know if I'd ever see him again. That's the pain, right? When the phone rang at 2 a.m., I knew my life had changed forever. That's a pretty good starting line. Do you get it? The first paragraph has to hook them. And the way to hook them is to paint the picture of the pain. So you have to go back to that place. And sometimes that means taking a friend with you or a counselor or a pastor, because sometimes you dig some stuff up. But when you go back to the pain, that's where all the healing is. You go back to the pain, you say, okay, I have a story of patience. The reason I had to be patient is because I lost my job, and losing my job really hurt. And then the day that it hurt the most was the day that I was asked to have a meeting with no notice on a Friday afternoon. That's the story I need to tell. So then you go back to your journal, to your photos, to your calendar, to that day, and then you retell the story. I got the email 1 hour before packing up for the weekend. I was so excited to head to our weekend family vacation because I had been working so hard, but the email from my boss, I knew what was coming. And I remember walking from my office into her office and sitting down, and she had a look on her face that I hadn't seen before. And I knew that today was my last day at that job. And immediately I thought about my kids, and I thought about my spouse, and I thought about all our goals. And I thought, God, where are you? That's how you tell that story. You lean into the pain and you paint the picture of the pain. If you understand, just say understand in the chat. I understand. That's what gets somebody to read your story. The way somebody reads your story is because you talk about the pain and they go, oh, I'm there right now. I'm there right now. That's why they read. They read for themselves. Yeah. Okay, good. That's step one. Suffering. This works in books too. I would actually do this in every chapter of your book. Okay. Suffering. Now, what does suffering lead to, friends? It leads to endurance. Endurance. Now, endurance is the steps. Endurance are the steps. Endurance is, what did you do? What did you do? So the way that I like to teach it, I'm going to tell it in the chat. Think, feel, or do. Think, feel, or do. The way to really frame the second part of your story is actually telling us, what did you do, or what did you think, or what did you feel? I think that the most practical is do, because people understand do. So after losing your job, you then tell us the story about what you did first, what you did second, what you did third. Now, you probably did 7 things, which means you need to filter, because some of the things you did didn't work. So maybe one thing that didn't work, one thing that kind of worked, and one thing that was great. Okay, so fail, mid, success. So a 0, a 1, a 10. That's the story. After walking out, I remember the first thing I did is this, right? Or when I met with my spouse and I had to share that I lost my job, I spent a month on the floor. I spent a month worrying. I spent a month wondering. Like, that would be the 0. Didn't work. Then I started applying for jobs online, and that didn't work. And then I met a friend at church who introduced me to somebody, and then that's where I got the job, right? So that's the endurance part. That's the part people really want to know. It's like they say, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And so the first part is, I've suffered too. Here's my story of suffering. They go, oh, I know she cares. Then now she wants to know what you know. They will care what you know when they know that you care. So you start with the pain because they know, oh, she cares. She's willing to be vulnerable enough to share the pain. And then you share the process. So we have the pain, and then we have the process. And that's the endurance, because the process takes a while. That's what it means to be patient. It takes a while, right? So the process. So we have the pain, then we have the process, or the endurance. Now here's the cool thing. The way you end your story, I love this part. Romans 5:3-5. Suffering produces endurance. Endurance produces character. Type character in the chat. Character. Character. You, my friends, have grown. I've been co-running Hope Writers for 10 years now. It's our online membership community for writers. Brian today is a different Brian than I was 10 years ago. Of course I am, right? I keep growing in my character as I get older and learn and suffer and endure. I grow in my character, and you do as well. The character you are today is not the same character you were when you faced the suffering. So when you lost your job, that's not you today. Your audience needs to know about today. They need to know about today. Today is the promise. Type promise in the chat. Today is the promise. In Romans, it calls it character. The character is who you've become. Who you've become. So let's just unpack it one more time, okay? The pain is the suffering. The endurance is the process, and the character is the promise. So we have the pain, process, promise. That's your story. That's how you teach your story. Now, we don't leave there because we need to invite our reader to take the first step themselves. So that's where we give them a little encouragement, and that's the hope. So what I like to do is I like to leave a story with an action step. We call that a CTA. Type CTA in the chat. CTA, a call to action, a call to action. And I actually steal this from James. James talks about how faith without works is like seeing yourself in the mirror and then walking away and forgetting what you look like. So imagine you just ate some broccoli and you look in the mirror and you go, oh, I got some broccoli in my teeth. And then you walk away and you do nothing about it. You just, hello, friend, how are you? You still have broccoli in your teeth. It's like somebody reads your story, but if you don't give them the call to action, you don't give them the next step, then they feel hopeless. But character produces hope, and hope does not disappoint. So what you need to do is tell them what the first step is. If this relates to you, if you're going through this right now, the first thing I would recommend you do is this. That's how you end your story. You end your story with a call to action. So people need to know what to do. Okay? So that's the whole framework. Wow. Isn't that awesome? What was that like for you? Let me know in the chat. Was that helpful for you? Was that encouraging for you? Was that empowering for you? This is awesome. I haven't shared one slide yet. It's so fun. I'd rather just talk to you. Okay. So now the fear. We don't have to have fear. But I really believe, friend, I really believe that what you're thinking about right now, that suffering that you went through, that led to the endurance, that led to the hope, that led to the character that you are right now, that could produce hope for somebody, it requires a step. It requires a step. So is it okay if I take a few minutes? I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to explain how the collaboration book works, how the collab book works. Is that okay? Type okay in the chat if that's okay. Is that okay? Yeah, just type okay so I know it's okay. Hopefully all this technology works here too. Okay. So, but don't lean into fear, okay? Don't lean into fear. Be open to hearing about the possibility that could lead to your next step. I'm going to kind of skip around a little bit because I see our time is a little limited. Okay. I want you to imagine this day right here. Here we go. Yeah. I want you to imagine this day. I love this picture right here. Can you see the picture? Okay. Imagine this. Imagine you are in this picture. You are holding your book. What's in the book? The book is a chapter that you wrote about your story of being patient, about your story of going through the suffering, about your story that you started working on just now. Imagine you're now holding a book about your story of patience, your story of waiting. And that story has something that you've been wanting to write for a long time, but you finally wrote it and now it's in a book. Now it's in a book. That's what I want to walk you through, okay? Just type amazing if that would be amazing. If you were in a picture just like this with 9 other authors who wrote your story, they wrote their story, you read their story, they read your story, and you come to our headquarters here in Matthews, North Carolina, and you have books in hand, and we do a live launch together, and you are now a published author. That's what I'm going to talk about for a couple minutes, okay? If that would be amazing, type amazing. If it's not for you, totally cool. But if that would be amazing for you, type amazing in the chat. Okay, I want to talk to people that said that would be amazing. Okay, I'm gonna, here, let me zoom out a little bit. Okay, I have 105 slides, but I kind of went off script here a little bit. Okay, here's how it works. So what is a collaborative book? What is a collaborative book? A collaborative book is when 10 authors share their story and their perspective. Each of the authors contribute one chapter to the book, and that means there's more opportunity to sell books, and it means you have a better chance for your book to become a bestseller. Kind of cool, right? Okay. This is what it looks like. So these are 10 of our authors who all wrote in one book. The book was a Back to School, Back to You book as an example, but just to show you, real people, okay? Real books. So at Hope Books, we have published 104 books so far. Type 104 in the chat so I know you're with me. This is not a brand new idea that I came up with today. This is something that we've been doing for years. So we've published 104 books. So you can trust us. We know what we're doing. The books are beautiful. They're well edited. And they look like this on Amazon. You can see. So the book is available on Amazon. And yes, it's in Kindle, it's hardcover and paperback. So all three of those books, all three of those formats. Okay. Here's what's really cool. If you, Charlotte, if you, Elizabeth, if you, Marie, write your chapter in the book, you get your own little page on Amazon. Isn't that so fun? So Susan, you could, on your Substack, you could have a link to your Amazon author profile. Isn't that so cool? So Anna, as an example here, has her author profile that people can find her on Amazon, because Amazon's kind of like a Facebook for readers, which is kind of awesome, right? Amazing. Okay. And then you also get your bio, a place, Susan and Sarah and Pamela, where you have your picture and you have a little bit of info about you and about what you write about, so people can follow you. Isn't that cool? So I want to convince you today that contributing a chapter to a collaborative book is the fastest and least overwhelming way to become an author. So you don't have to write a full book. I love publishing full books, like when you write your whole book. And some of you on the call, I recognize your names. Like you are writing a full book with us, which is awesome. So you're still welcome to listen along. But I do believe that a chapter is like training wheels. Type training wheels in the chat. Training wheels. Training wheels. A chapter is like training wheels. A chapter is like training wheels. It's a way for you to have some success, to make some progress. And let me give you a different example, actually. My 16-year-old son is learning to drive right now. Now, there's two ways to learn to drive. There's free and there's paid. Now, we have done paid. So I have paid my time to teach him how to drive. We have paid a driving instructor to do a class with him, and he has paid attention to learning how to drive. Type paid in the chat. Okay, paid. So the more pay, the more progress. The more you invest, the more you get, right? Yeah. So training wheels, or learning to drive a car, or learning to be a published author, if you want to do it well, it requires investment. It requires paying, right? So this is the idea. The idea is you write a chapter in a collaborative book and you become a published author, and you have a good experience and you know how it works. And then you can decide later if you want to do a full book later. So it's a really great start. So we call it Hope Books Collaborations, and you get guidance, support, and a community, which is my favorite part, community, right? If you love community, type community in the chat. I love not working by myself, but working with people, right? I'm a people person. I love people, being with people. Okay. The key is really collaboration. Okay. I'm going to kind of skip to the end here. Oh, so as I kind of walk through this, these are reasons that's going to come up. You're going to say, oh, I don't have time. I don't have money. What about my family? What about my health? But we're just talking about one chapter, and collaboration really is the key to overwhelm. So I want to walk you through exactly what you get as part of collaborations. So you get professional training. Jeanette, stay with me for 5 more minutes. Professional training. So we have a course, an online course that will show you exactly how to write your chapter. We also take care of the editing and the formatting of your chapter. We do the cover design of the book. We offer you unlimited discounted copies. So you can order your author copies that you can sell at a profit. You also get free copies as an author. I think it's 10 free copies, which is kind of awesome. We also include some bonuses. So we record a podcast where you're talking about your book, which is really cool, that we have at our headquarters. And then we also do a live launch. So we have a big party for you. Type party in the chat if you're with me. We have a party. So that's the whole deal. That's the whole deal. And it's really fun, our live stream launch party where we interview you about your book. Yeah, I love it. Sarah, Charlotte party. We actually do, I don't even have this little slide, but we do headshots. Take your author photos, which is so cool. So this is everything that's included. This is everything that we have. Yeah. Now, Nikki loved it. She said, I enjoyed the excitement of the book launch and the experience of recording the podcast. The program gave me a clear pathway to achieve my writing goals, and it was inspiring to see everyone come together. Isn't that awesome? Okay, so here's your next step. if you want to be, if you want to be one of the authors in our upcoming books, we have a couple that are open, but the one specifically I'm speaking about today is our book about patience, patience in the waiting. It's about your story. Here's what I want you to do. Okay. I want you to go to, I'm going to share my screen here. I want you to go to this link right here, hopebooks.com/collab. hopebooks.com/collab. Click it in the chat right there. Okay. There we go. hopebooks.com/collab. Now, this page, am I sharing my screen? Not yet. Okay. This page has all the information about our collabs. And I'm here to answer your questions. So I can stick on for a few more minutes. Okay. There we go. So you go to hopebooks.com/collab. You can read all the information here. But what you do is you click this right here. Click apply. Apply. And this right here is going to ask for your name, your email, your phone number, and then tell us about your story. This right here, patience, and this right here is what we just talked about. So what's your story about? You put it right there, okay? And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna read through that and we're gonna reach out to you. Now we have some different payment options available because at Hope Books, we split the cost with our authors. We do 50-50. We do 50-50. Type that in the chat, 50-50, if you're with me, 50-50. So you get the course, you get the coaching, you get all the editing, the book cover, 10 copies of the book. We throw a big party for you. We interview you for our podcast. We do all that. And we just split the investment. So split the investment. So the investment is, we've got a couple of different payment options available, but I mean, we can get you down to like a couple $100 on our payment plan. So, but your first step is to apply. And friends, this is maybe where the fear sets in, because we start to think, what if my story isn't good enough? What if I don't have time? What if I don't have the money? What if I type what if in the chat? What if? Friends, that is false evidence appearing real. That is fear. F-E-A-R, false evidence appearing real. As we talked about before, you can go into fear and you can stay stuck if you want to, but that's a choice. Or you can say, hey, it's a $25 application fee. I'm going to pay the application fee because I'm going to take my writing seriously. I'm going to fill out that form, hear from our team. Our team's going to review this today. So you'll hear back from us probably by the end of today, maybe tomorrow, but really soon. We're going to say, hey, congratulations, Jennifer. We would love you to be part of this book. And then we'll walk you through the different payment options, okay? We'll get you onboarded. You'll log in. You'll get the little course that shows you exactly how to write your chapter. You'll get the Google document where you put your words. Our team of editors is going to start editing your work, editing those words, helping polish them up. We're going to share, this is the publication date. Here's the cover of the book. Meet your other authors. We have an onboarding call where you can meet all the other authors, the 9 other authors that are all writing the same book. Wouldn't that be so amazing? This is your choice right now. You can choose faith or you can choose fear. You can choose to take a next step and say, yes, I want to do this. Or, but what if? Fear. And I'd say, friend, punch fear in the face and say, this is the day for me to say yes to becoming a published author. This is it. We've had a few authors that have written one chapter in a collaboration book and then another chapter in a collaboration book and then said, okay, now I've got the training wheels. Now I'm ready to actually drive and do a full book. And if that's the dream for you, a full book, this is a great training program. This is why we built Collaborations as a training program to get you ready for writing your full book. So one more time, your next step, and if you have questions, I'll take questions. Your next step is to click the link there in the chat. Click the link in the chat and apply. We take, Discover, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, whatever. So you just click apply, and then you go here, you fill this in, which collab book. You can just say other, that's fine if you don't know, or you can say, the one we're talking about is the patience one, okay? So you say Hope in the Waiting, but just say other, that's fine. And then You say, okay, what's your chapter about? Okay, losing my job and finding hope. And then provide the sentences. Okay, the suffering was losing my job, losing my job. The endurance was building friendships. And the hope that I really want to share is like, you can do it too. There you go. Okay. And then PayPal, Venmo, or I have an American Express here. Boom, hit that. And then our team is going to reach out to you and say, hey, congratulations. We read what you want to write. Or, hey, let's get on a call to talk about what you want to write. We'll see if it's a good fit for a specific book. So that's your next step. We would love to work with you. That's your job right now. Before you end this call, to apply. Because what I've found, this is probably the best coaching I'll give you right now, is later is never. Type that in the chat. Later is never. Later is never. Have you ever been in a store and you saw this perfect outfit and you're like, oh, I'm going to get that, but I'm going to get it later. And then you went to the other stores and then you got in the car and then you went home and you made dinner, you're getting ready for bed. And then you're like, oh, I forgot to go back to that store. And then you never did, right? Or you had this dream and you deferred it. And the Bible actually says a dream deferred makes the heart sick. And so I want to speak specifically to you. If you have been dreaming about being a published author for a really, really long time, in fact, let me know in the chat, how long have you been dreaming about being a published author? Is it a year, 2 years, 5 years? Let me know in the chat. How long have you been dreaming about being a published author? Let me know in the chat. Yeah. A dream deferred makes the heart sick. And so, oh my goodness, Sarah, if it's been 40 years, it's worth it. It's worth it to apply today. It's worth it to apply today. I know I have a lot of faith-based people here. I'm a faith-based person. And sometimes we kind of go, I want God to open the door, but I don't just want him to open the door. I want him to like drag me through the door, you know, like he gives you a choice. He's giving you a choice. You get to decide what you do. He has given you 168 hours this week. He has given you the resources you have in your bank account. He has given you life and breath. And he's also given you free will to decide. And if you're the kind of person that like needs a sign, like friend, this is the sign. This is the day. Today's the day. Today's the day to say yes. So I wanted to hop on here today to encourage you, to let you know that you have a story, to walk you through a 4-part story for free. I didn't charge anything for this. But I really want to implore you to at least apply. So if you're going to apply, say, I will apply. Just type in the chat, I will apply. I will apply. Choose yes or choose no, but choose now because I got to go. I will apply. I will apply. Or I won't apply. Either way, listen, it's not going to change my life. We've published 24 collaborative books. But you know whose life it will change? It'll change your life. It'll change your life. But you have to choose faith over fear. I will apply. Yeah, type I will apply in the chat if you will apply. Because you can choose not to apply and say, I'm going to do it in an hour. I'm going to do it later. I'm going to do it on Tuesday. Jesus said, do not worry about tomorrow because every day has enough troubles of its own. That's why I lean so hard in on taking action right now. You spent an hour and 5 minutes with me. You already know. You already know if you're a yes or a no. Type it in the chat. Are you a yes? Or are you a no? Type it in the chat. Which one? You like, yes, but I got to figure out time. Yes, but I got to figure out money. Yes, but I got to figure out my story. Yes, but I da. Or you're like, no, I don't like Brian. I don't want to publish a book. I don't want to write a story. Just say no problem. I'm never here to try to convince somebody of anything. What I am here to do is to help you with confidence, to confidence. I'm here to encourage you, to take my courage and put it in you and say, friend, this is what we do. You can trust us. We would love to work with you. It's so much fun. It's so much fun to write a chapter, to get to know the other 9 authors, to have a big party, and then to hold your book in your hands. And the investment is so small compared to the outcome, which is knowing that you were faithful in sharing your story. In fact, if you feel like your story is a calling, type calling in the chat. Like, I know it's a calling. I know it's my calling. Yeah, I know that sharing my story is part of my calling. Y'all, if you're letting fear or even finances, and the investment's so low. So yeah, I'm gonna take questions in a second. The investment's so low. But if you're letting fear or finances get in the way of your calling, it's probably time to do something different, right? It's time to say, I'm gonna lean into my calling because life is short. Okay, who has questions? Type it in the chat. I'm here to answer your questions. Awesome. Yeah, Lisa says, do I have to apply today? I already have an appointment set up with Carly. No, that's awesome. You have an appointment with Carly, so that's great. Yeah. Talk to Carly tomorrow. That's great. Or just message her right now. She would love to hear from you. I think she might even be on this call right now. Oh, awesome. Who else has a question? Somebody was like, are you going to take questions? Yes, I am going to take questions. Okay. The link is right there. Thank you for that question. The link is right there in the chat. Click hopebooks.com/collab. Fill that application in. Carly and my team, we're going to look at those applications. We'll get back to you within the next day or two. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, low is relative. What's that? Oh, like financially? Yeah. Yeah. If you're able to get on a Zoom call and you have a computer and you have the internet, we can figure out a payment plan that works. No problem. We can absolutely figure out a way that works. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. When do the authors get paid? Oh, that's so cool. Okay. So we split the investment. Oh, and Mandy has a question too. I love money questions. Okay. The love of money is the root of all evil. It's not money is the root of all evil, right? So it's money is fuel. Money is a resource, but we don't worship the resource, right? So the way that we do money around the Hope Books world is we really believe in both investing. So we're not like a big publisher that only looks for famous authors and says, oh, you have 1 million followers, so we'll pay for everything and publish your book. It's not how we work. Instead, we say we're looking for faithful authors who don't have a large following. So if you have, let's say, if you have less than 10,000 email subscribers, type me in the chat. If you have less than 10,000 email subscribers, or if you don't know what an email subscriber is, type me in the chat. That's who we work with. And so the only way that publishers can work with an author and not have the author pay anything is if the author pays with their audience. So we specialize in working with first-time authors that don't have a large audience. So if you don't have a large audience, then who's going to pay for the book, right? Who's going to pay for the coaching? Who's going to pay for the party, et cetera? What we do is we say, let's do 50-50. We put in half, you put in half. I think that's fair. If that sounds like fair, type in fair in the chat. That sounds like fair. That's fair, right? Because we help first-time authors. It's like you pay to go to college, you know? That's the idea. You're paying for the training, right? Okay, so our training is part of the program. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Okay, so we do have some different payment options available. The most popular one that I've seen is our $297 payment. So it's $297. I think that's our 4 payments of $297. Just to give you a ballpark, so you know like what we're talking about. We've had many people that have just put it on a credit card or use a debit card, and they've just one payment of $997. So just so that you know, I'm not trying to hide it from you. But if you think about it, you look at your Discover card or your Visa card or whatever, your home equity, your savings, and you say, okay, if that savings was down $1,000, how much would my life change? If I had a published book, how much would my life change? And you have to make that choice. But wouldn't it be better for you to have a published book and $1,000 left in savings than the dream of a published book that is not fulfilled and that extra $1,000 in savings, right? That's one way to look at it. Another way to look at it is if I put it on a credit card, I can pay it off over the next year or two, right? Obviously, there's some interest. But if I put it on a credit card and I pay it off over the next couple of years and I have a published book, I get royalties from that book. Okay, let me walk you through the royalties real quick. So the way the royalties work, because you did 50-50 investment in the book, guess what the royalties are? Type in the chat if you think you know. What do you think the percentage is of the royalty? 50%. Isn't that awesome? 50%. That's only fair, right? That's only fair. So, since it's a collaborative book and there's 10 authors, the 10 authors split the 50%, right? It depends on how many authors. So, let's say that the book makes $100 for the authors, okay? $100, then everybody gets 20 bucks. Make sense? Okay. Now those are paid out quarterly. So 4 times a year, type 4 times in the chat. 4 times a year, you get a check. Actually, we don't do checks anymore. You get a direct deposit. So you get a notification, hey, there's money on the way. And we put that money in your bank account from the books that have sold. Make sense? Isn't that awesome? That's how it works. So the author and the publisher splits the investment, and we split the revenue as well. Very cool. Yeah. Okay. I've gone a little long. Any other pressing questions? Feel free to type them in the chat. Here's your next step. hopebooks.com/collab, apply. So it's a $25 application fee. The $25 is not for us. The $25 is for you. It's for you because the $25 is for you because it's saying to you, this is important. It's important enough for me to pay a little bit of money. It's important enough for me to pay a little bit of money. And so $25 isn't really like, we're not going to, pay our bills on $25. It's just the idea that you're serious enough to take the next step. And it makes it, worth our team's time, but worth your time. So $25 application fee. We'll review the applications. Carly will schedule a call with you, and then we'll walk you through the book that's the right fit. We don't reject authors. No, we don't reject authors. We redirect. We don't reject, we redirect. Come on, type that in the chat. That's good, right? We don't reject, we redirect. So here's what we'll do, okay? Number one, if you're a fit for the books that are currently open, which normally you are, we'll explain that book to you. So for example, you want to write a fiction book, a fiction chapter, we have a fiction book. If it's your story about patience, we have a patience book. But if you're like, it's not really a patience story, it's something else, we'll review that story and figure out what book makes the most sense, because we like to have a collection of these 10 authors that all kind of have a theme, okay? If we don't feel like you're ready, which does happen, we will make sure that we offer you the next step. So that might be, here's a course to take to get you ready. But our heart is helping you get started, right? Okay. When are the contracts signed and books published? Oh, I love the detailed questions. Usually the book is, the chapter's written, edited, and published less than a year, usually a lot faster. So I think our average collaboration book is about 6 months. So think about that. It's January, February, March, April, May, June, July. Imagine by July, you're holding your book in your hands. The publishing contract comes a little bit later. Usually I think there's like step 3 in the process. So we want to get you in the course to get you started. And then as we're heading towards publication, that will be like just one of the steps in the process. Yeah, great questions. I think those are all the questions, y'all. Now is your choice. I know I went a little long. Now is your choice to choose faith over fear, to say, you know what, I'm going to give this a try. I'm going to at least apply. Give it a try, at least apply. What do you have to lose? 25 bucks? I think it's actually worth it just to fill in that application. Yeah. Sarah, what if it could be before your birthday? That's totally possible. Wouldn't that be amazing? Yeah. Having your book at your birthday, I think that's so incredible. Okay. Those are all the questions. Next step is up to you. I can only invite you. I can't force you. So your job now is to go look at that page, to submit the application. It's only 25 bucks. I mean, think about it. It's like, that's less money than filling up your gas, right? So like, it's worth it to go ahead and apply right now. Do it right now. I will hop off, but I want you to stick around and click on the link and go ahead and apply. I'm going to check those in about an hour. Comes through. Carly's going to reach out to you and say, hey, we got your application, and then we'll take the next step from there. Sound good? Y'all, thank you for being with me today. You want my email again? Yeah, no problem. Brian@hopewriters.com. Oh, you know what? If you were on a little late and you want the recording, just type your email address in the chat. Okay, type your email address in the chat if you want the recording. of our conversation today, I'm happy to send that out when we're all done. Yeah, I want to just give you a second for that. Yeah, just type your email if you want the recording. I know some people got on a little late. Okay, awesome. Actually, you know what? I know I gotta get off. I'm sorry. If you want to just talk to Carly today, you're like, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to sign up. I don't want to wait anymore. Like I'm in. I know this is the thing for me. Just type your phone number in the chat and she'll just text you. Okay. Just type your phone number in the chat. You're like, I know this is my next step. I don't want to go to bed without a decision. Like I just want to know I'm in. I want to make this happen. Just type your phone number and then I'll just share that to her right away. Yeah, just put your phone number in the chat, and I'm happy to say, hey, Sarah, Sarah would love a call right away. I'll try to make sure that she's available to reach out to you. Anybody else, just put your phone number in the chat real quick, and then she can call. Yeah, I know that our peace book. I mean, because if you think about it, there are only 10 spaces available. So our book on peace is already closed, and so our book on patience usually closes pretty fast. So yeah. My email address, I'm really easy to find. Brian at hopewriters.com. Yeah. Okay. So Elizabeth wants to call. Sarah wants to call. Anybody else want to call today? We're happy to kind of get you started first. Okay. Awesome. Let me make sure I get that. I can send it over to Carly right now. Okay. Awesome, y'all. I think that's everything. Thank you so much. I look forward to working with you. Your next step is to apply. Again, go to hopebooks.com/collab to apply, and we'll review those applications and we'll get back to you. I hope you have an incredible day. Happy Monday, and let's work together to take the next step. Bye, everybody.